Well, welcome everyone to Mindful Mondays with Laura Cross, where we are your resource for education, connection, and collaboration. And today I have with me Steve Ramona. He is a unique super connector who specializes in building partnerships through his personalized introductions. And his introductions have been incredibly successful, resulting in $25 million deals over the past 11 years. So that is quite the track record and obviously has been proven. You may recognize Steve from his podcast of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart and a TV show called Together We Serve. So I really could not have thought of a better person to talk to us today about the art of connection, a servant's heart in business. Steve, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolute pleasure, Laura. I'm so excited.
So before we dig into the servant's heart and everything, can you share with us a little bit how that all came about?
18 years old, just finished high school, going to get ready to play community college football. But as all 18, well, most 18, I shouldn't say all, we want to make some money, go to the beach. I'm in Northern California, go to the beach, go out, go to the movie. I want to have money to go out and have fun before I started school again. And my family launched a health club when I was in high school. And my cousin Jeff, who's the president, said, hey, why don't you come work at the front desk? I'm like, hey, I need money. It's my family. Can't go wrong.
Right.
What I learned over the next 2 or 3 months was this network I was building of people, but not just people, but very successful people, millionaires. And they became friends of mine. And relationships started building and collaboration started happening. And I'll tell you a great quick story because 3 months into my job, and Tony, who comes in every day, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday to work out. Hey, Tony, have a great workout. Hey, Tony, have a great day. He comes up to me and throws me a book. Little Italian guy goes, hey, kid, here's a book I want you to read. I said, Tony, what is it? He goes, kid, just promise me you'll read the book. Okay, I will. Okay, I'll check back with you next week. Of course, he did. And now background, he's a financial advisor. Okay. So he said, read the book. It was called The Wealthy Barber. It's still on Amazon today. This is back in 1979. Wow. Most of you people listening probably weren't even born yet. But it was great because basically the book was saying, take 10% of your income and stow it away. Don't look at it. Tony, I'm going to do it. He said, okay, kid, I'm going to hold you up to it. He checked back in once in a while. And, yep, still putting 10%. Which wasn't a lot. Back then, I think minimum wage was $5. But even if it was $50 a month, it's going to grow, compound, as we all know, finances when you don't touch it. Well, he had left the club. He retired. And he may have moved, but I had his number. So I woke up one day and said, I thought of Tony. And I looked at the bank account. I think there was over $65,000 in that account after 10 years.
Wow.
And I was blown away. So I called him. I still had his number. I said, Tony, I want to give you the story. He goes, oh, I'm so fired up for you. I'm so glad. I said, hey, I want to pay you. You gave me some advice. That was your job. He goes, no. I said, why not? He goes, Steve, here's what happened. You took my advice. You collaborated with me. You were mindful about my advice. I want to use your wonderful show name. And it worked, and you followed you know how many billionaires and millionaires I worked with that never followed my advice and became bankrupt? So your currency was you changed my life because when you started reading the book and following what I told you, I'm sure over those 10 years, somebody came into my life because the universe changed because of my tip to you and you following my tip. It brings that infinity circle of serving. So once I learned that, I'm like, okay, there's something here.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's a beautiful story too. I love that. A lot of us were taught maybe like to save, but maybe not quite that way. And it's the fact that you were able to do that and prove his concept at an early age is pretty amazing.
Well, and to add to the story, at 28, I probably spent $10,000 of it. I mean, I bought a car, but I still had some, but that's what he warned me of. But I didn't spend it all. But yeah, it was fun. It was like, back in 89, $68,000 is a lottery. Today, It's just like, a check now. It's so much different. But
it's a vehicle.
It's a
for
vehicle.
A lot of people.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. It wasn't back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I learned networking, collaboration, but with the servant's heart. Now, Tony could have said, hey, come to my office. I'd pay him a few dollars. He'd do some financial advising for me. I'd still be successful. But he appreciated me remembering him, building a relationship, that he woke up one day and said, hey, I'm going to take care of Steve because Steve's been so kind to me, been so mindful of me. And Laura, every time I tell that story, I get goosebumps because two things. One, it's so amazing, but two, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
That's special.
That's true. That's true. You just have to have the right mindset and belief and follow what you're given. Like you said, how many millionaires didn't take his advice and wound up bankrupt? So
Yep.
really all comes down to you. And you've probably already answered this a little bit, but maybe you want to expand on it. So why would you say serving before selling is essential in building meaningful business relationships?
In business, the short road is transactional. The long road's transformational. What that means is, Laura, you come to me, I present my my service or product. You don't know me very well, but you buy it because of a whim of somebody else. How long are you going to stay as a customer? Or we meet, we follow up, you ask me a few questions, you like that I have just got married, whatever. We start building a relationship,
Right.
business or just building that to get to know. So that short road, yeah, you're going to get 100 clients, but they're going to stay 3 months, 4 months. I'd rather take 10 great clients I built a relationship and they stay with me for 3 years. You guys can figure out the number. What's going to make you more money is pretty obvious. But the other part is it's fun.
Right. Yep. Yeah, I have to agree
It's
with you. I've belonged to a number of things where it's always fill the funnel, fill the funnel. But when you're filling the funnel, you lose a lot of people because, you start, some people I've seen where they get so high that it's like they forget what it was like to be down there. And those people they feel forgotten. They don't feel like they're appreciated or like they have no help. So why would they stay? It's like they care at first until the dollars come in. Then all of a sudden, whoop, they don't care.
and fun. And I know you're not saying this. Funnels work, but
Well, yeah.
the add-on to a funnel is that follow-up. Maybe it's an email, maybe it's a voice message or a video message. Hey, Laura, I see you find a funnel. You bought our product. You have any questions? Here's our help desk. We're here for you. Like at the health club, when I remember people's names,
Mm-hmm.
that is a game changer. It's a simple video. It's probably less than 30 seconds, but you're telling them, I'm here. I've not left you. You've not bought my product. I've walked away. And here's a tip for the audience. Massive tip, but it's so simple. So in the health club, people would walk in, and we had 5,000 members. So a lot of people, hundreds of people walking every day
Right.
in a shift. I'm pretty good at remembering names, especially if they're consistent. But if you don't remember a name, my cousin Jeff, shout out to you, Jeff, was, guys, just cheat and look at you're not cheating, but just look at the computer screen. They run their car and go, hey, Tony, hey, Laura, have a great workout.
Yeah.
Just doing that in your world, like you walk, and I don't do it all the time, but I know when I remember to do it. I just was at a grocery outlet, and I said, Debbie, hey, thank you for your help. This was really good. She goes, oh, my God, you're so welcome. That little quick response of, because they had a name tag, or asking, hey, excuse me, what is your name? Debbie. Okay, Debbie, thank you so much. It's such a servant heart mindset. It's a game changer.
Yeah, and thank you for clarifying, because no, I'm not saying funnels are bad. I'm just saying that because they're necessary, especially if you're in business. You have to be able to stay in business, but it's treating them more like a number, than a person or an answer to your bottom line, and not, like you said, not having that interaction. Because how much does it make someone's day? Like maybe you have a waiter or waitress that you took the time to notice their name and call them by name or talk to them by name when you order, instead of just, I want this, this, and that.
Yeah. Would you like to be different, Laura, than
Oh, yeah,
everybody else?
absolutely.
Okay. Here's another great tip. I got so many of them. I'm so excited to be on this show. So what I learned, because I used to run a restaurant 2003 to 2005, again, bringing my network to the restaurant. Mm-hmm. We were the fastest growing restaurant in 6 months because I just emailed all my health club members. I had left by then. Said, hey, I'm part of a restaurant now, and people came flooding in because I built a relationship. So real quick, bring your network to every opportunity that you built great relationships. I've never had a problem growing a business. But at a restaurant, here's something I always do, and I learned something. I have a great waiter or waitress. I'll go, hey, Tony, can you go get your manager? Sure, what's going on? Oh, no, no, just go get your manager. And then you see him walk over and you see him talking, and it's like, okay, they're like, what? You know, you could know that there's like, what happened? What'd you do?
Yeah.
Manager comes walking over. What's your name? Again, use their name, especially in a conversation. Hey, it's Joe. Hey, Joe, you know, what can I do for you? I make sure they say that. I go, Joe, Tony was one of the best waiters I've ever had, or is a great waiter, whatever you want to say. And I
Yeah.
always like to say, at a restaurant, I'd hire them. Oh my God. And it's just like this deflation of pressure just leave. Well, I just served that manager. I just served that waiter. Be authentic, by the way. If it's
Yes.
not good, do that. But here's the kicker. I asked over 100 managers over the last few years, how many times do you hear how good your employees are? 99 out of 100 said they don't hear it for years.
I'm sure.
Well, this was wrong. The water was not cold. Ice, not too much ice. My food was put on the, you know, all those complaints that people make. He says, I rarely hear this, probably 5% of the time. One guy had been there 10 years. He had heard 3 compliments about his waiter in 3 in 10 years. I was blown away. So on a side note, I'm still working on it, but I want to write a book, How to Be a Good Customer. Not customer service, but we have an obligation as a customer to serve our people that are, you know, we're paying. People have this mindset, well, I just gave them $100 for dinner. They should do it. I'm like, no. I know people that do that. No,
Yeah.
let's work together and collaborate, like you said in your beginning of your show. Tell them they're doing good. And if there is a problem, don't scream and yell. Don't do this because it's not the waiter's fault. It's probably the chef's fault.
Yeah.
Just, hey, I'm going to inform you this happened. You know, can you let them know? Okay. Then, hey, you effing this. Hey, you're crazy. This is. It's just not good.
No, and not only that, it feels good when you've made someone else's day or did something feel good. We're always so quick to criticize, like you said, with the negative for whatever reason. We're just thrown that way, but we very rarely take time to, hey, you know, give me a testimony or something. People don't like jump up and volunteer or do that. But yet, if you did something wrong, trust me, the whole world's going to hear about it. That's,
yeah, that's the world works that way. Good goes pushed aside.
To, hey, you know, give me a testimony or something. People don't like jump up and volunteer or do that. But yet, if you did something wrong, trust me, the whole world to, hey, you know, give me a testimony or something. People don't like jump up and volunteer or do that. But yet, if you did something wrong, trust me, the whole world's going to hear about it. That's,
yeah, that's the world works that way. Good goes pushed aside, and the bad rises right to. Just look at media. Just look at TV.
That's why I don't. At least
Amen.
news and stuff. There's certain shows, but otherwise, yeah, no, I don't have time. Yeah.
Yep.
So can you share some more examples of how transformational partnerships have led to long-term success and compared to transactional deals?
Well, I'll do one of them. So I'll tell you exactly. I call these win-win-wins. So about 3 months ago, I put 2 people together for a partnership, and it was a $100,000 partnership.
Wow.
And they're going to send me $15,000 when it comes through. One email. Now, I'm not saying that I'm pumped because they're going to make a lot of money, but my servant heart was you and you need to come together. There's some synergy here that I think you guys can work together. Instead of going, hey, you guys need to do it, make a ton of money, have that servant mentality with it.
Right.
And you're going to, so it was a win for the client. It was a win for these 2 companies, and it's a win for me. That's what we need to shoot for in a transformational instead of transactional. And transactional is hard. How many people have told you, I hate sales. I don't like sales. Sales, I think some of the people in our group have talked about with sponsorship. We're always selling. We wake up in the morning selling. What TV show is going to get our attention? That TV show, caught our eye. What coffee am I going to drink today? What? We're always being sold to or selling. It's just not always transactional. But if we can sell with a transformational mindset and be mindful of that, that's awesome. But here's the problem. People tell me as I mentor businesses, it takes time. Yeah, it does take time. But you have to change your mindset. And what I tell people, if you need money, go through your network. It's a great tip. A lot of people do this. And find products and services you love and reach out to them and go, hey, Jimmy, you got a affiliate program? You're doing a funding. I do. Well, you know what? I'd love to highlight that through my network. Oh, absolutely. Let's get you all set up. I have 35 of these. And I'll take once a week, an hour, and go through and send emails or texts to people. Hey, I found this cool product or service. You need to check it out. I do an email introduction, and I walk away. There's a sale, I get paid. There's not a sale, it's still good because two good people get to meet. So that's the way, if you're not making money right now, to make money, but do it with a servant's heart.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't say I'm a super connector, but I'm a connector as well. And I've also been reminded of people in my community when certain things are coming up. They're like, yes, but you're not there now. Now you have a whole community behind you. All you have to do is talk to them and ask them. But we always seem to have, and it's a struggle. I won't say it's not a struggle to ask, people.
Yeah, I forget. I'm, preaching. I preach it too. We're working together on that. And on a quick note, not to pump me up, but how did you feel when you sent that email and you wanted some advice and sponsorship when you got that email with the script?
Oh, that was beautiful. I'm like I said, I can be very heady and I overthink things. And it's like, so getting a different perspective and a different way to come at things. Yeah, I greatly appreciated it.
And that's where I tell people your IP for free. Yeah, I came up with this. Maybe somebody else does, but give that away for free. Are you going to pay me? Probably never. And I'm kind of excited that you're not because, one, I get to bring you value and serve you, but my universe changes. Just me sending that email, the universe goes, hey, Steve, tap you on the shoulder. We're going to bring something to you. We don't know how, when, or where, but thank you for taking care of Laura. We're going to thank you. And that's happened where I've had a sale. I woke up at $500 in my PayPal. No idea where I came from. Finally figured it out because one of the programs somebody signed up that I taught 2 months ago. Just takes some time. Sometimes it's weeks, sometimes it's months. But that's where we're in the people asset business. You need to talk to people. Meet 10 new people every week, audience. Your business will grow. I guarantee it, 99%.
Yeah, absolutely. And that brings up the concept of ABS, which is not your braking system, but always be serving. And so how can businesses incorporate that in their daily practices?
So what does ABS stand for?
Always be serving.
No, but what? Spell the word out. What's it? Say the word. When you say the word, what is it?
A.
Okay. But what is ABS? What's that word? Oh, I'm kind of abs.
You got abs. Okay, gotcha. Abs.
No, and okay. I'm teasing
you want me
to?
A little bit. Yeah. Okay. I was going to say I'm a car person. I go to automatic braking systems. I'm like, okay.
Which is good too. But what's interesting, we work. I've been in a fitness field, as I told you, as health club for 20 years. And people know this. You work your abs every day because you can. They recover fast, but you're always working those. You need to be working, always be serving daily. Maybe it's your kids. Maybe it's your dog. You take your dog for a walk. You just served your dog.
Right.
But be mindful and conscious of that. Things will change. And here's one thing that's happened to me over the last 18 months. I get 3 to 10 referrals every week for the last 18 months. Audience, think about that. If you woke up and you had 3 referrals today of people who meet for whatever reason, but potential client, for me, podcast guest, or another partnership, or those 3 people I meet, I get in their network. And then I can ask for a sponsor or I can ask whatever. So when you bring value to people, it's amazing. And just Monday, I get this email from a guy I haven't talked to in 6 months. Hey, Steve, I want to introduce you to so-and-so. I think you'd be a great connection. 6 months ago. Yeah. I'm still top of his mind. You'll make more sales that way, which is the bottom line.
Yeah, and we all get busy. Then there's maybe people that you are really in touch with, but maybe you get so busy once a year. But like another friend of mine mentioned, you can pick up the phone and it's pick up like you haven't lost any time at all, just because you have that relationship and you have that connection.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's amazing how all of that works. And like I said, you and I had met, we were discussing some things. I had asked to pick your brain, so you took the time out to meet with me. And it was funny because one of the platforms that I have used the most more normally for my guests, I have found others to use to get more guests in, had kind of gone dead. And no sooner was I off with you, all of a sudden, boom, boom, here I go. It's like it came alive again. It's like people requesting to connect. So like you said, the universe works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, and if you don't think about, you have a servant's heart, you're a beautiful person. That's why it happened, because you're aware of it. Some people don't even aware of it. They'll serve somebody and they'll go a week later and all this stuff starts happening. And I'll go, what'd you do last week? Well, I helped this person move. Well, that activity led to these two people you haven't talked to in a month reach back out to you to potentially be clients. Oh, yeah, well, I didn't think about that. There's always a direct correlation somewhere. We just don't know how, when, or where, as I said earlier.
Yeah. And that's definitely a good point. Well, I know we have some strategies and stuff to go through still, but we have to take a quick break from a word from our sponsors, and we will be right back.
Hey, we got soul. Oh, yeah, we got soul.
So, Steve, we were talking about, transaction over or transformation over transaction. And I get it. A lot of us in business, we need to pay our bills. We need to make ends meet. But how would you say, in your experience, prioritizing service over the sales impacted your own business relationships?
Well, 25 million in deals. It's a big thing. It's amazing when I looked at it.
Mm-hmm.
But here's a great story. 2022, I met this gentleman through my network and meeting people. And people, hey, you need to meet Steve, and didn't know anything about him. Knew he was very successful. I think he did 250 million that year in sales. So very, very successful. We started talking. I was telling him about serving. He said, Steve, I wake up every morning and I go to bed every night. How am I going to serve people today? I said, how'd you make 250 million doing that? He goes, well, again, I just went out and served. I served my competitors. I called them collaborators. If I can't help a client, I send them to my collaborator. I'm like, that's brilliant. And I like that. I've been thinking that, but I love how you said that. So he talked about my serving, and I would give you introductions like I did with you or other people, but they go, hey, Steve, how can I support you? And I go, put my hand up like this. Oh, I'm good. And that's one thing. Don't ever do that. That's the worst thing you can do. The universe says stop, it stops. But what he told me was, which was so enlightening, an audience, listen to this. He says, Steve, you turn all those people into takers. Now, they're not leaving that meeting and go, what an a-hole Steve is. He's a taker. It's more deeper in the subconscious. Universe says, you know what? It's an infinity loop. I said earlier, it's a serving, giving, receiving, and receiving. It loves that. Once he told me that, last year was my best year ever financially in 40 years. Because I was asking as I was delivering service, bringing value. Yeah, Steve, hey, I want to join here, or connecting with this guy and I get paid. Connecting with this person, I get paid. And I was like blown away. This is incredible. So it's super powerful to add that to your component of serving.
Yeah, definitely. Great advice too. What strategies do you think can individuals use to shift their mindset from transactional to transformational? Because pretty much I would say that's what we've always been taught in school or any business course, or at least it was when I was there, is transactions and competition. And so what strategies would you suggest?
First off, I got to say, I love that you said that. And there's colleges out there now have a degree in servant leadership. You actually can get a degree in that. I talked to a gentleman that got it. We had such a great conversation. So if you want to go the school route, you can do that. That wasn't my route. I did some school. But I lost my train of thought. So ask me that again.
I was wondering what strategies individuals can use, because we're always taught transactional, not transformation. We're also taught competition. Do your SWOT, analysis. It's always everything is about competition. I refuse to look at things that way. I told people I don't have competition. I'm uniquely me. I collaborate. But what strategies would you give people?
First and foremost, it's a skill set. Gratitude's a skill set. Bringing value is a service is a skill set. What do you do with a skill set? You have to practice.
Yeah.
So here's a great way to practice. And I have a journal on Amazon. It's called the Serving 2024 Serving Journal. It's $9 if you want to get it, or just use a piece of paper. But start Monday and start jotting down the people you served. If you remember their name, great. But just write down what transpired during that service. When Friday or Saturday hit, you want to summarize. Here's the summaries. How did I feel during that week? How did that person I served, how did they feel? Joyful, happy, whatever. You write down what you want. But the most important thing, how did your week change? Maybe it didn't change. Maybe it takes another week. But what happens is when you serve people, you said earlier, Laura, so incredibly well, the feeling, the emotion you get when somebody goes, thank you so much. That's such a great tip. I get all the time, man, that's one of the best meetings I've had in 2 years. I get off that meeting, I'm sky high. All I did is just serve them. So tracking it so you can understand the emotion and feeling of it. And once you do, you're going to be like me and you, Laura. You're going to know it's a powerful thing.
Yeah. And I would have to say sometimes it's hard to put into words how fulfilling and happy it feels. We have a community here where once a month we get food in that stores pulled from expiration dates. And I've connected to so many families. There's so many people that need help. And all it is my gas time. And yeah, if I'm sweating off, that's okay. I can lose a few pounds in the 100 degrees, whatever. But we go pick it up and we move. And people are so grateful and thankful. And it's just, who cares if it took me all day and half the next day? I felt good because it did something really good. And it helped people.
Yeah, and here's another, and yeah, it's so powerful. Here's another tip, and I got a story with it. Raise your hand, audience, if you want to get past a bad day. We all do. Yeah, I'm raising my hand. I mean, bad days happen. Life has its up and downs. When you have a down day, stop what you're doing, usually work or whatever whatever you're doing, stop and go out and serve somebody. Go to the food kitchen. Go give money at the guy in the store. Whatever you do, call your best friend you haven't talked to in 3 months and catch up. Do some type of service activity. I know you'll feel better. Because one day 3 years ago, I don't usually work at 2, and just 2 meetings canceled. I had a big contract not go through. Not a good day. Expecting this stuff didn't happen. I was down.
Yeah.
So I shut the door, shut down, left my home office. I went to the grocery store to get groceries. And with that, I'm a faith guy, and I had this Holy Spirit feeling, this, you know what? Buy that lady's groceries. She had a baby in her arms, probably as part of it subconsciously. Mm-hmm. So I tell the clerk at Safeway, I go, hey, here's my credit card. I want to pay for her groceries. She's like, oh, no, I'm good. He's like, dude, he's a surfer dude. He's like, dude, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
I said, just take it. Finally, he did. And she said, oh, I thank you so much. I pay for my groceries and I walk out. She starts tearing up. I'm like, oh, no worries. I haven't had a good day. I want to help you out and I'm always thinking how I can serve. She goes, Steve, you don't know what you just did. I said, what did I do? She goes, my husband lost his job last week. We weren't sure how we're going to pay for our groceries. Getting chills right now.
Yeah.
That $30 got us groceries for a few days. Now I've got 30 to buy groceries. It was a Thursday, I think, on whatever it was. Now, yes, what a great thing I did, but here's the lesson of the story. I didn't know that story.
Right.
Like we don't know a lot of people's stories. So when we serve them, we never know the end result. And the more powerful thing is, what do you think she's going to do, Laura, when she gets home? Oh, my God, honey, this guy bought my groceries, Steve. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then their mindset is, for the next few days, is how can we pay it forward? Who can we help? Who can we serve?
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be huge sometimes. I've seen it where we're in races and they're like, oh, here, we got you a ticket. And, it was like already taken care of. Or I've seen people pick up other people's, lunch tabs and stuff. And it just makes a world of difference.
It does. And another story, I do a lot of, introductions and introduced Katie to a bunch of 3 people to help her business. Mm-hmm. And she didn't respond, and I realized she had disabled kids, and there were issues with the kids she was trying to get through, so it took her a few weeks to finally connect. So I see the emails come through. Hey, thank you, Steve. Hey, nice to meet you. A couple days later, I get an email from her. She goes, Steve, I'm completely speechless. And she goes, LOL, because she's writing it. I said, Phil, I'm not speechless, but you have completely changed my life. Because those 3 people you introduced me to gave me resources to help my kids that will live for years and increase our family's, what'd she use? Not value, ability to grow and not worry anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, again, like the grocery story, when you bring value in service, you just never know what their shoes they're in. No. Just do it, because you never know when you're going to help like that.
Well, and the other important point that I think is, like you said, you were having a bad day. You were probably counting on that contract and that money. So, we're not saying this is easy. Yes, we may show up smiley and all happy and stuff, but we have bad days too. But instead of spiraling and trying to go, like many of us do, figure out where am I going to get the money from here or there, you did the opposite. You went out and you actually spent money on someone else.
And I had great meetings the next day, as I remember. Great meetings. It was an awesome day. And part of that's probably because I helped that lady out. I know we hear stories in Starbucks lines where people buy their coffee. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another thing. Go to Starbucks, buy a coffee, and buy that person behind you. It's $5. But
they're about $10 now, depending on which ones. But yeah,
thank you, Laura. I haven't been to Starbucks in a while. Okay,
I happen to have a friend that loves the frou-frou large coffees, and yeah.
There you go.
Today's day and age. Anyway, so how do you navigate the balance between serving others and achieving your business goals?
Just keep serving. Find opportunities. When I jump into a meeting, I jumped on this TV show. I did 5 minutes of a little meditation, and how can I bring value to Laura? How can I serve Laura today? I need to be my best. I need to be understood, speak well, have energy, be positive, little things that you don't think about, but you should think about just a little bit. Just get you pumped up.
Yeah.
Because I think I am bringing value to your audience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I should say hopefully, because I know I am. I do. So every situation you get into, like I went to a movie last night. I saw Deadpool and Wolverine. It's July 26th. Great movie. We were blown away. A lot of good sneak things they put in there. So if you're a Deadpool fan, you want to see it.
Oh, yeah, we are. We're waiting for that one.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to love it. And the bathrooms were closed because it's 2 sides of the theaters. Mm-hmm. So, I had to run to the other side. I could have bitched and moaned at the guy at the podium. Why are these bathrooms closed? Well, no. I said, hey, is the other bathrooms open? I said, great. And, guys taking tickets. Hey, I got to use the bathroom. And I went and used the bathroom. 2 different mindsets, screaming and yelling like, why'd you do it? It's not going to solve the problem. Nope. You're just causing more anxiety in your universe and in you. Or, hey, where can I take care of it and just be because not his problem. The guy's just taking tickets. He's not the plumber. He's not the manager making decisions. And don't even talk to the manager. It's broken. It's broken. It's been broken for 2 weeks. Because I worked at health clubs and things were broken. Customer service was my cousin on me all the time. Why is that bike still out? It's 2 days. I'll get it done today. Why is that treadmill not working? Why is that bathroom not clean? Why, you don't wait for those things. Things you can take care of in control those. Can't control politics. Can't control media. Let that go.
See, you're speaking my language. I always tell people control what you can control and what you can't, let it go. And when it comes right down to it, the only thing you can control is you.
Yeah.
You can't control your spouse. You can't control what other people think or their perceptions. So let it go.
Doesn't it make life much easier?
It does, because life is way too short to get all stressed and worked up, and it causes a world of health problems, and it just
Yeah.
spirals. It just
And
spirals.
and Laura, today I just received a call, and this is a perfect segue. It's not a good call. It was a bad call. A guy I worked with in networking passed away last week, 40 years old, on his couch. So it took 3 or 4 days. 40 years old, died in his sleep. Like you just said, what I've learned, what God's telling me, yeah, it's tragic. Pray for the family, but life is precious. Enjoy today. Have a great show with Laura. My next podcast to do, have a great podcast. We're fallible. We're going to make mistakes. We're not always going to be positive, but do your best to always be at that higher level and bring a little more value. Because most podcasts, when you do a show, and I've done many, it's 2 or 3 or 4 weeks before they put the show out, which is the system, and that's okay. I never complain. But what I do to see a little more value, like the show this morning with our friend Devin, he'll be out Saturday, if not tonight. He's like, "Oh my God, you're going to get it done tonight?" I said, "Yeah." What did I just do? I brought more value. What's he going to do? Remember me? And then all that starts working together again.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is so huge. Yeah. I lost my father about a year ago, and I've lost people, and I've seen it where, and you just wish you could get through to them. But when they get so wrapped up over everything in the world, politics, whatever, it's like, you got no control over it. When you got time to vote and you want to do something, do something. If not, really all you can do is let it go.
Laura, you're a sister from another mother. Absolutely. It's true. Nobody can argue that. That's all we can do is vote. Or if you want to go to the White House and not pick it, but get in a meeting, if you can do that too. But that's all we can do.
Yeah.
And just live your life to what you can control.
Yeah. I don't like getting in areas where it's just like nothing but negative energy. I can't live there. Can't do it.
So here's a great book for people that want to live in that positive life. It's called The Daily Stoic, Stoic. Ryan Holiday's the author, and he's got a great email that I get every day. It's using Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, these philosophers, living that life of stoicism where, hey, eventually we're going to die. We die every day because we change.
Right.
What can you do to control your life and do good and not worry about others? So if you want a good book, and it's really cool because you read each day. It's got dated, today's July 26th. It's got 2 or 3 paragraphs of a philosopher's quote and then what Ryan feels of it. It's really can pump you up. It's another way to boost your energy.
Yeah, definitely a good way. Some people have apps on their phones or stuff that pop up, but yeah.
Yeah,
I try to get a break from the electronics here and there, but yeah. So what are the key benefits of cultivating a servant's heart mentality and in a competitive business environment?
Put you ahead of the game because people are going to want to work with you. Mm-hmm. I've seen instances where I've taught people to be servant's heart where a client went to somebody else, and I know, audience, you've seen this or it's happened to you. 6 weeks later, they come back, go, you know what, I left that company, I want to work with you.
Yeah.
Because you leave a good taste in their mouth. It's not that's a good phrase, a good feeling about you. They're like, okay, I'm obligated or whatever to go here. But when you treat people really well with value and service, they're eventually going to come back. And more importantly, I don't worry about the one person. I worry about their network. They might know 100 people that I could work with that can pay me money to be on my, they're not charging for it, but pay me money or be part of my partnerships or do something to work with me where we bring value. That's so powerful. We lose sight of what are the network that person's involved that hasn't built.
Yeah. And that's true. You never know who, I mean, people are always, connected to other people, but I think it's also important to, I guess to treat people how you would want to be treated,
Yeah.
If you're working with people where you would never go to them, like I always used to use car salesmen. I can't stand working with people like that, or like we feel like they're just telling you what you want to hear, and if there's a bait switch in there somewhere, and it's just like, yeah.
That's a great. I love that. We have CarMax out here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have it out there.
Oh, we do. Yep.
Yeah, my wife just bought a car, and again, I serve the sales guy. He's like, my wife's bringing him food from Trader Joe, just bringing him value. So he really took care of us because we were serving him. He would respond faster. We're just human that way. But what CarMax does, because I talked to him, he says the price is $18,000. We don't negotiate. They let you drive the car for 24 hours, and then you can drive another car tomorrow for 24 hours. You can drive as many cars as you want, and you have 10 days to return the car if you don't like it.
Yep.
If that's not serving your clients in the used car industry, I don't know what is. And my wife was funny. She works at Trader Joe's, and one of her workers kept coming with a new car, and she asked, "What are you doing?" Well, I'm at CarMax with John. Again, here's service. Here you go talk to John. And she's like, every week she'd come back with a different car. She'd like test drove 4 or 5 cars. Well, that takes that mentality you just had with used car salesmen.
Yep.
Takes it completely out.
It is true. I have sold a vehicle to him. Well, I've sold 2 vehicles to him, and I know my niece has bought one from him because, again, if you're selling them, you tell them everything, and it really kind of doesn't matter what upgrades. They know what they can get in their market. They give you an offer. You got 7 days to accept it or not, and But
Great
yeah.
service. Yeah, I'm going to sell my car through that. Yeah, maybe I can get 1,000 more, but I got to deal with people coming to my house, making appointments, and all that. To me, it's worth selling for 10% less and just getting rid of the car and then moving on to a different car. Again, that's to me.
It's nice to have a bottom line and not have the whole haggling like, oh well, this, but we can do this, and I've been down those roads too.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not.
Yeah. So, can you provide insights on how to measure the success of transformational partnership compared to transactional deals?
How many referrals are you getting daily? If you're building relationships, people are going to refer people to you. Not everybody. I get a pretty high level referrals because I have a lot of resources and introductions that I can do. And real quick, if you meet somebody and you can't do introductions or referrals, or you don't have resources or tips, just saying, I think it's really cool. That's a cool picture of you with the dolphin back there, Laura.
Thank you.
And it's true. I love the picture. It's just, I love dolphins. It makes me smile. But that little thing made you smile and change the attitude of your body really quick. It's as little as that when you're serving people. But you do more of that, you're going to be in a position that I am where you're going to have, because we're in the people asset business. Financial assets, what's that? We're in the stock market, that's an asset. I've got a stock goes up, goes down, up, down. It does this.
Yep.
Same with people. We treat people well, our assets are going to grow, our building relationships are going to grow, and our income's going to grow. If we treat people bad, our assets are not good. We start losing money with our people.
Definitely. And I guess I'd have to agree with you. You're like a brother from another mother, because
I love it.
I love dolphins. They've always just lit me up, which is why I made it part of my logo and everything. They're just, I've always been attracted to them.
Dolphins and dogs. And horses too.
Dolphins, dogs, and bears. Yeah, and bears.
Bears, yeah.
But got to cover land and sea. So how can leaders inspire their teams to embrace a servant's heart philosophy in their professional interactions?
Great question. You're such a great host.
Thank you.
A leader. So here's how you find out if somebody's a leader. Okay, Steve, Ramona, you say you're a leader. Who you're mentoring today? Oh, I mentored Laura yesterday. I sent her an email to help her with her show. I'm a leader. A leader should be mentoring people as much as they can. It should be a forethought of their mind. How can I mentor this? How can I help? How can I support? How can I serve? Whatever words you want to use. A shout out to Oak McCullough, who's a lieutenant sergeant retired. He told me that phrase. And it's resonated with me. That was 9 months ago. I will never forget that because it's true. Yeah. A true leader is out there, a CEO, a founder, C-suite. When you're mentoring people below, not worrying about, hey, Joe Smith might be the next CFO and take my job, you can't worry about that because the bottom line is the company. The company goes bankrupt, nobody has a job, so it doesn't matter. But always be mentoring. And again, on a side note, mentoring and wanting to receive the mentoring. Some people you mentor, and I mentor a lot of people that I give them action steps to take, and they never would take. A servant heart says no. I had to cut some of these people out of my life going, I'm not going to meet with you anymore. I'm giving you tips, helping you out, and I talk to you a month later and you haven't done anything.
Right.
It's not a fit for me. There's other people I can help that will take those actions. Indecisiveness is the biggest disease besides COVID for business.
That is true. That is true. Yeah. And some people like that, like you said, you have to create those boundaries, because otherwise some of them people will just drain the snot out of you.
Yeah. Oh, God, yes. Oh, yeah. That's not good either.
Yeah. And it's very hard to stay in where you need to be when someone's, just draining you. So
yeah, and I said that earlier, and I'll say it again. What I learned from people, my pastor and other people, was it's okay to say no because you're not helping them. They're not helping you by listening to what you're doing. So let them go out, find somebody that might resonate with them, work with them better. You're doing a disservice if you're trying to, put a round peg in a square hole with them and they're just not listening or getting it or whatever the situation is. So it's actually a servant heart that lets that person go to find the right place for them.
yeah. And I think the big thing too, like you said, is remember to ask. It's okay to ask. I had a friend of mine, another colleague, that told me that, and she says, you know what? I ask because she's looking to connect with authors. Well, guess what? I connect with a lot of authors in this show, so I blew up her email. Like, here you go, and every time, and when you know more about that person and you meet with other people, it's like, oh, I have someone I know you should meet. I think you guys should connect. You could do something, and like you said, they're win-wins. I love win-win connections and mindset like that.
You are a super connector. That's exactly the definition of a super connector. That story you just said.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a bunch. Let me share a few with you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
absolutely. So what advice would you give to businesses looking to implement a more service-oriented approach in their operations?
Meet and communicate. This goes for leaders as well as business owners and businesses, with your employees and with everybody. If you're a podcast host, TV show host, or in one-on-one meetings, shut up and listen and then ask. And people go, shut up. I mean, shut up. Because a lot of people shut up, but do they listen? And just use the example of the Zoom board. You got 4 or 5 or 10 people in a Zoom, and some person's screen's black. Now, I know there's reason to get water, go into the bathroom. There's reasons, but are they really listening? No, they went to the bathroom.
Right.
Well, how are you going to ask if you're not listening? You listen to your friend that you heard right away, author. You shut up, you listen, go. She asked, boom, here's authors. If you could just remember, shut up, listen, and then ask, you'll increase your income, guaranteed 99%.
And I would say even active listening, because a lot of people don't do active listening. They're like half listening and they're just waiting for you to shut up so they can go like this. And they really didn't hear you.
Very well said. Yep.
So tell us a little bit more, because we got a few minutes and stuff left. You have a serving business podcast.
It's called Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. It started out because, 25 million, I bring that up again. I served a lot of people, made them a lot of money. But as I told you, I met that guy and learned how to serve properly. Mm-hmm. Like, what a great way for my clients to highlight them. I've always believed, take your clients and promote them on YouTube. LinkedIn. Hey, Joe Smith, he's got a flooring service. If you're in the San Jose area, you need to check him out. Highlight people. Don't highlight yourself. So I'm like, whoa, podcast is even more. So I started reaching out to my clients. Hey, would you like to be on? Yeah, absolutely. But what it turned to was people going, hey, would you like to talk to Ivan Meisner, the founder of BNI, who's, I think, a billionaire? Lee Steinberg.
I'm sure he is, yeah.
Yeah, Lee Steinberg, Jerry Maguire movie was made. He's one of the top. He's Patrick Mahomes' agent, who's a top football player. And I just asked, would you like to be on my show? So I started learning when I brought larger influential people that my audience started growing. And it's been powerful. Great stories of a gentleman who was convicted of murder at 17 years old. He never did the murder, spent 32 years in prison, 5 years in solitary. And when I met him 4 months ago, he was the happiest guy in the world. And I said, Alfonso, you have every right to be pissed at the world. Why are you so happy? He said, Steve, the Lord has gotten me out. I can enjoy my life. Yeah, I'm 49 now, but now I'll make up all that lost time.
Wow.
So stories like that that's serving.
Brings a whole new perspective.
Absolutely. What a way to serve. And he's out speaking and talking to prisoners and people in the his partner Terry, she's a wonderful gal. Innocence Project. So he's out speaking and I'm helping him do some other things. Because messages like that is a servant's heart.
Yeah, definitely. So we have a few minutes left, and I did put up the QR code again for your YouTube channel, because you do have a YouTube channel as well. So is it basically your podcast on the YouTube channel?
Yes, my podcast on the YouTube. You can also see the live TV shows I have on the live section, which would be recorded. And yeah, it's all the podcasts. I've done 450 podcasts in about a year and a half, which people are blown away. But I love doing them. And it helps my business because the more people I meet through a podcast, the more opportunity for me to serve them and make money, and everybody wins. So they are work. And I've also shown a way, if you're a podcast host out there and time's your problem, I can show you how you can do a podcast in 20 minutes and have it out on YouTube.
That is definitely good to know. Because, yes, sometimes there's a lot to it, but a lot of little things to learn. So your TV show and your podcast are both on your YouTube channel?
Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And I would definitely, if I were you, check it out, because as you can see, Steve is a wealth of knowledge and a connector, and I love the servant's heart. We have a couple minutes left, Steve. What would you like to leave everybody with today?
Audience, do you want to grow? Obviously, you want to make more income. We're all in this because we need to pay bills and all that. I'll make a simple tip for you. Get better 1% every day. 1%. Read 50 minutes of a book. Reach out to clients you haven't talked to. Put in your calendar some things you're not doing, whatever. Just get better 1%. It's July right now, so we have August, September, October, November, December, 5 months.
Yep.
So that's about a 200% increase. Audience, think about this. If you're better 200% by January 1st, 2024, are you going to make more money? Are you building relationships? And has your network grown?
Yeah, it was set you up for, if not to finish off the year, great, to have a phenomenal next year.
Amen.
Because like you said, this, building relationships, it takes time. It's not overnight, but it's looking, I think, more at the long game than the short game.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Steve, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to share all that with us and for joining us on Mindful Mondays. I greatly appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. You're a fantastic host, and it was an awesome show.
Thank you. So everybody, be sure to reach out to Steve, subscribe to his YouTube channel, and catch his podcast. I'm sure he's got phenomenal guests on there and a lot more to share with you. And we will see you all next week.